Okay, that's rolling. Greetings, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Dreamscapes. Today we have our friend Bernard from mainland China here to share a dream
it's actually
with us.
from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong. Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
I should have put it out there first. So yeah,
that's okay.
It's okay.
I didn't confirm.
That's on me. Yeah,
my mistake too. So for everyone who may or may not have seen other videos, we're going to do the kind of 3-part process. I'm just going to listen while Bernard tells us his dream, and then we'll go back through it again, maybe try and pull out a little more detail, and then between the two of us, we'll try and figure out what makes sense. So Bernard, anytime you're ready, I will sit quietly and listen. Go ahead.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just read it from my transcript here. I actually jotted it down on my phone. First thing I got up. So my dream begins when I know that I have to. I don't know. I forgot where I was, but I forgot that I have a mission, which is to meet a criminal who had served his sentence. He was about to get out from jail, released from jail, not get out from jail, and I have to meet him in a dinner. And that seemed to be my idea. That seemed to be coming from me for some reason. Yet when I was about to meet the criminal, and accompanied with my mother, so that means my mom and me will meet the criminal, I suddenly felt secure that there would be an intelligence agency, something like a CIA. That's what I felt. Like a CIA organization will be watching over me on this mission or operation, as you call it. Then there was a scene. Like I suddenly knew I was suddenly in a place. It was like a barren place, not totally barren like Sahara, but something like a Mojave Desert or somewhere in Midwest America. Me and my mom were behind the fence, and there's like a barbed wire fence, and so we were behind the fence watching from afar that there was like an exchange of sorts between this ex-criminal that we were about to meet and the other female criminal. And when this was happening, my mom expressed her sympathy to the woman. I forgot what she said exactly, but she expressed her sympathy towards this female criminal, saying something else, just talking to me basically. Despite what I felt was like complete indifference towards her sympathy, because what I saw was that this female criminal was like she gave a She-Hulk vibe to me. Like she was this bulky and fierce, like someone that totally not to be tampered with, despite being a woman, which is, well, not really. Men and women can be bulky and fierce, whatever. So thing is, exchange of place happened. She came down from a van and just walked towards the direction where another van was also coming through, and just coming right before us, and just drive by, and we saw it. Not just me. I saw that in the van it was the face of that ex-criminal. I saw his face in that van when he was driving by. Well, actually, it's not really an exchange of sort, but I don't know. For some reason, in my head, I felt that it was an exchange. It was an exchange of criminal, but I don't know. Yeah, and when I saw that ex-criminal that we were about to meet, he was wearing glasses, looking out through the window of the van. And then another scene. I was in a city. I was alone. I was still being watched over by the intelligence. It happens, like as it was, and I knew that I had to meet the criminal. I had to meet the ex-criminal at last. I was crossing a road, getting my steps on a well-polished, cemented street, like a street paved with clean cement. I felt like the city was empty, but then suddenly I was arrived on a busy, bustling seaside. It's like by the shore, but not exactly a shore, just a part of that's just by the sea, you know. And then I walked all the way to some markings made in chalk on the ground by the seaside. It looked like this markings looks like some sort of a rendezvous point for like a beachhead, you know, for someone coming, as if it was made by as if it was like drawn for someone about to come from the sea, you know, and they were about to drop themselves on that spot on the seaside. And it was like some curves. I can actually draw that out. It was like this. Can you see it? Like a rainbow shape.
Chalk markings kind of look like?
Yeah, just 3 lines.
Okay.
And then there's some like writings besides like this one. That was the word job. Oh, it's reversed actually. So yeah.
It was the word, what word again? Sorry?
Job. J-O-B.
J-O-B. Okay.
Yep. Actually, there's a lot more writings, but this is the only word that I remembered so far.
Okay.
And yeah. Job or jobs. I don't know. And yeah, I was told, I was a bit scared that when I knew that there's this group of people who were about to come by the shore, about to come by the sea, as if I felt that they were invaders. They're about to invade not the city, at least the seaside, and about to kidnap people, the citizens of the seaside. And but I didn't exactly know why they're invading, what's their intention, what's they're about, what they're on to. And when they came, everyone, like the crowd, there has been a crowd all along when I arrived on the seaside. And when these invaders came, these sea invaders came, the crowd gets unruly. They got noisy. They were they were deeply disturbed by the invasion, of course. But fortunately, I was somehow moved. I was somehow afar from all this heap of troubles. But I was still being affected by emotions. I was still getting this fear from them. Like I was also being influenced by their fears. And I was about to walk away from it, despite being afar. But I was still, for some reason, I was still about to try to see if they were coming by a boat. Like I was finding that boat. I was like looking for that boat on the sea, and I saw the boat, and then I came back to my parents, who all of a sudden appeared. But of course, it didn't really came surprising to me, that dream. But they were there when I was about to leave. But I was about to leave from the thing, and then from the crowd, and then when the sea invaders came kidnapping people, and I was trying to walk away, I met my parents. My parents then appeared, and I certainly like I saw my dad, my father. He looked calm and like totally not moved by all this fear of the crowd. I was felt and I was well, and I was felt assured by his calmness and serenity. And then we were about to walk away, and then I got up. That's the end.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. So, what does it mean? Hell if I know. And thanks for watching. No, just kidding. There's a lot of interesting stuff here. I mean, some things stuck out to me as possibly important. Certainly, the idea that your family is present in the dream at different parts is probably personally meaningful in terms of your relationship. I mean, we could start with your father because we just came off of that. Is he generally someone who's knowledgeable in the world and confident in his actions, and he makes good decisions, and you know it because his plans work?
He was not really a planning person for me. He was more like an acting person, like a person of action, and he was good on that. Now
you say was. Is he still around? Did he pass away?
Oh, sorry. Is.
Yeah, okay. That's
no. He's still here. Yeah. It's all fine.
Both your parents.
I got a Kansas moral.
That's okay, but your second language is better than my first. Sometimes I'm still trying to master English also.
Oh well, we all do.
I know it's a complicated language. I'll get it someday. Yeah. So both of your parents are still alive and involved in your life. You see them pretty regular.
You mean how do I see my parents?
Oh, sorry. You visit with them and go to visit them regularly. They're still involved in your life.
Well, in fact, I was still living with them.
You were living with them at the time.
Yeah, I am still living with them. I am still.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Just trying to get that straightened out. So you see, your father is more of a man of action. So. Yeah, maybe the way you conceive of that is that what am I trying to say? Man of action. He doesn't take a long time to deliberate things. He kind of knows what to do, and he just takes care of it, and it generally works out for him.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be very reassuring that he showed up and he doesn't need a long time to figure it out. He I know what this is. I know what to do. Let's get out of here. And that was reassuring to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does seem relevant to the idea of concerns with getting a job. Just because you brought it up, the idea. What am I trying to say? I don't want to say that's key or central, but there's probably something around that in terms of uncertainty being in there somewhere. I don't want to emphasize that yet or put too much into it, but I wanted to mention that a little bit just because you brought it up and that the word was there and that it seems to be related to the invaders. I completely forgot. I'm getting wrapped up in the, what do I make of this? I usually right now I stop and I say, okay, now that you've described it once, we've gone through it again with more detail. Do you have any new connections in your mind? Any new understanding of some of the elements and how it relates to your personal experience? Maybe some new thoughts came to you before I start putting my thoughts in your head.
Let me check my journal again.
Sure, and you might have nothing. Some people do, some people don't.
Yeah, I started keeping a journal a long time ago, and then I didn't do that for some time, and then now I pick up again because of this dream. Okay, let's see.
As a part of the journal, you write the dream down and then maybe make some of your own notes about what you think after the dream?
Oh, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing new. Yeah.
But now in this moment, after having just gone through extra details, there's no new connections in your mind, thoughts about what some of those specific elements might relate to?
Well, maybe the invaders symbolize my fear for finding a job, or for getting out to the society.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
Or also, the invaders imply that I have to have this like invading assertive mentality when I get onto a place that I am familiar with, like the society, that the idea of graduating from the university and get on to the, however you call it, the market, the society, whatever, and that also explained that why I felt that like it was a foreign seaside to me. It was a foreign place because that might symbolize that it may be that it was that when I get onto the society, like that I was the foreign place, the foreign seaside might symbolize that I was about to go to. I will be soon going to somewhere that's unfamiliar to me, some sector, some aspect of life, a stage of life that I have to deal with a lot of uncertainty, a lot of decisions will have to be made by myself independently. And the invaders may just symbolize that I have to be assertive in these situations.
Could be.
Could
be. Yeah, my also thought was that, say you choose a place to work and you go there, it is its own foreign environment. You don't even know the layout of the building because you haven't been beyond the interview place, and there's a whole bunch of people you don't know. So in a way, starting a new job is like going to a foreign place. There is that possible connection. One thing that came to my mind was, do you have concerns about choosing a job you feel good about doing, a job you think is ethical and morally good? Are you concerned with choosing a job that does good rather than, like, say, if you could be a defender or an invader, you'd rather be a defender. You don't want to be the invader. You don't want to do a job that's predatory, that hurts people, or that you feel like you're doing something immoral. Do you have concerns about that specifically?
No, I would not. I wouldn't. Well, not that I am a moral person, but
yeah,
moral is not my first concern when talking about finding a job.
Okay, fair enough. No, that was just my thought. Is that you might be having that a dilemma of trying to choose a job that you feel good about doing, that you feel like is not hurting people, but that's okay if it's not. Again, just rattling those doorknobs, that wasn't the right one. Probably be good to go back to begin at the beginning, just a little bit. I know we'll come back around to that other stuff there, but
okay.
The idea that you're on a mission to meet someone and you're being watched over by an agency, kind of a powerful agency, so they've got your back, or at least they're observing things, and you know they have an ability to influence or act, and your mother's there with you. I'm wondering about her presence. So sometimes your mother's not your mother in a dream. Sometimes she is. Sometimes it's more of an idea of something your mother represents to you. It could be you just feel reassured by her presence, like she has a calming influence on you in general. Sometimes it's maybe she's someone who has helped you accomplish tasks in the past. She's been a valuable mentor or support in pursuing your goals. What do you think related to the idea that your mother would join you on a mission? What does that bring to mind?
Yeah, it would definitely not be my mother in real life, but it might be like my unconscious, or like my a certain aspect of my mind that is maybe soft or feminine or caring, because as in her being showing sympathy towards a criminal.
That's true.
Yeah.
No, that's I think a valuable insight. So maybe there's some, we could say, traditionally feminine behavior, perspective that is wanting to remind you to look at the world that way, or to take that perspective into account when making decisions, when pursuing goals. Something like that. Does that sound like something that might be, because if we look at, like, say, traditional masculine and feminine stereotypes, masculine would be dominant, forceful. Maybe traditional feminine would be more gentle, more nurturing, maybe a softer approach, more cooperation versus dominance. I don't know if any of that brings something to mind about how you're looking to accomplish any immediate goals. It could refer to personal relationships. I mean, we focus on the job a little bit too, but I don't know what else is going on in your life. So there could be other important. I don't know if you have a girlfriend or love interest, or some other personal things going on about a week ago. Did you have any experiences that stand out about a week ago? Things you were going through or dealing with?
Oh, yeah. I was about to. Well, there's this major thing that's technically still going on. Is that I have been waiting for a place in my university, like, how do you call it, like campus hall or hostel, like
dormitory.
You get it, right? Dormitory, yes, dormitories.
Yes. Okay.
They were about to they promised me to. Okay, so like I had to. So like a month ago, I applied for a place in dormitory, and I went through went through the warden, who personally see me through the interview process of applying this. Like I have to went through an interview for applying this, and then I went through, and I checked their website. They stated that they would announce the results by late September.
Okay.
And now still nothing.
No results. Okay.
Yeah. So like as of today in Hong Kong. So like as of yesterday in Hong Kong time, which was the last day of September, I just sent the warden and then the teacher team the email, so like saying, hey, do you still remember my offer?
Okay.
Yeah, like what the hell, and like my warden, and then the warden was like, oh, I would transfer the email to the tutor team, and the tutor still haven't answered.
Yeah, that's frustrating.
Fucking hell.
No, yeah. Seriously. So, just throwing this out there, what do you think about the idea that these people are not making a decision? It's an open-ended question, and it's just going on and on and on. And you take that idea and you think about it in the context of trying to meet this criminal, and you keep going to another place, and he's not there. You're still looking for him. And by the end of the dream, you still never met him, I don't think. You never actually were able to connect with him. No. If you think of those two ideas together, does anything feel relevant or come to mind?
Well, yeah, now it sort of makes sense that, it felt like the ex-criminal maybe could symbolize some sort of unfulfilled promise on my side.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, with the criminal, what we got is he has served his sentence. So he did something wrong, or at least was convicted, but he's out now. And you are trying to meet with him, but you never got a sense of what you were going to meet with him about. What
Mm-hmm.
what the
Yeah.
no idea
Yeah.
what the purpose of the meeting was.
No idea.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah, and the idea that you kept going to new places where there was supposed to be a meeting and he wasn't there. You had to keep looking.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a sense of seeking to find something, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe a sense of conflicted feelings about finding the person at all, because the person or the thing you're looking for isn't pure. It's not all
Mm-hmm.
bad. It's
Mm-hmm.
maybe was bad, but it's kind of served it's been rehabilitated. But it has a history. It has a history that isn't pristine. I mean, you were not going to meet a superhero. You were not going to meet a monkey. You were not going to meet someone who was a fireman or other
No.
respected figure. He was a criminal once upon a time. So I think there's something in there, in that idea of having a criminal history, but served a sentence. Now he's been released, so he's got a history, but and that you never meet him, that you never get actually connect with that person. There's something there. I'm not sure what that is. That seems very significant though, because it happens multiple times across different locations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to a diner, and then you're in the desert, and then the exchange with and you did refer to it as kind of an exchange, even though nothing was exchanged in the desert.
Yeah.
But they kind of
that was
almost
weird.
as if they traded places. Like she took over something for him.
Yeah, probably like. Yeah, that didn't make sense to me at all. But I was feeling like she was taking his place in the prison, despite there's no place for her to take because he was already out,
released. But that's the
he
sense.
received the sentence. Yeah. Like
that
but
she was.
But that was what I felt like.
Yeah. No, and that kind of makes sense too. Not makes sense, but I think is significant, is relevant. The idea that you described it as an exchange, and it felt like trading places, and maybe I should ask, after the desert and you went to the city and then the seaside, when you got to the quiet city, empty city, and the seaside, did you have the feeling at those places you were still looking for the criminal? Or did it stop? Did the search for him stop with the exchange in the desert?
Well, the search for him stopped when I was on the seaside, where I was sort of like forgotten that I was about to meeting someone even.
Okay, so you were still looking for him across all the way up to the seaside, and then something more important happened. You're like, forget that meeting, we're getting invaded. I have a new priority. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta save my own life.
Yeah, for sure. There's got to be something significant in there that you were in your mind pursuing a goal, and it seemed very important, and you were determined to keep trying. You kept looking through multiple different places until something more immediate, more important came along, and that took your full attention, and you forgot all about meeting him. When you think about that, does anything come to mind? The idea of pursuing a goal, but then suddenly something much more important comes along and demands your attention. Is that in the recent past?
Well, I mean, since it's my final year in the university, I also had a lot to plan on, despite waiting for my place in dormitory. Like for instance, I was studying. Like for instance, I'm studying education degree. So, and that includes a teaching practice for me to complete in this year. That's one thing. Also, the usual assignments that I need to hand into and plan to work on. Big procrastinator, and also the thesis. Probably the utmost. Well, not probably. Certainly of the utmost importance of my future career, because I intend to keep studying, attaining a PhD, probably in your country.
Okay.
So that's a big thing. but that's more of a long-term goal. But for now, I'm more focusing on the teaching practice and the assignments and thesis. Then the waiting.
Yeah, no, that's a very important thing, and I mean, I'm sure it occupies a lot of your mental energy or waking life, either focusing on how to accomplish it well or concerned about going through the process. What am I trying to say about that? I mean, I think that might definitely relate. It might be interesting pursuing an education degree. Do you find the classes are mostly women, or is that not? Because that's kind of how it is in America. It's mostly women study education and become teachers. There's plenty of men who do, but it's overwhelmingly women.
Same in Hong Kong, and I bet this is same around the world, because I once got into exchange in Switzerland last year. Same case. Yeah. The whole pedagogy school was full of women.
Yeah.
Even headmaster, professors, students, 9 out of 10 were women.
It's pretty overwhelmingly, at least 60-40 and usually more, 80-20, that kind of thing. Or more, 9 out of 10. When you think about that idea and the idea that your mother or a feminine influence is coming with you on a mission, what comes to mind?
Oh, wow. All the bosses of my previous summer jobs were women.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that would make sense. That's the majority gender would hold the majority of positions, including positions of authority. When you think about that, how might that relate to the idea of the female criminal being large, strong, nobody to mess with, Caucasian, blonde?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
And trading
definitely
places,
not black.
Yeah. And trading places, in a sense, with the male criminal. So I get a sense, not to, if you got something, jump in, but I got a sense that trading places means something. What am I trying to say? The idea that she was taking over for him, which meant he was free to go, and then she was assuming some other responsibility or burden that he was relieved of. And it's not she was taking his place in prison, because he already got released, but there was some kind of a transfer from him to her, even though they never met. They never spoke. He never handed her anything, but in a way, she took over something for him, took some burden from him, took some responsibility from him. It was transferred from the male to the female, and she was more than capable of dealing with it. She was able to take care of herself, but your mother, the mother figure, the feminine energy, still felt pity for her having to take on that burden. I don't know if any of that is just me talking too much, or if something's coming to mind in that transfer, that connection.
Whoa. I mean, Benjamin, you're obviously onto something on this, but
you're having a feeling of significance in that, even if we haven't found the right words.
You know what? One of my bosses, previous bosses, she was this fierce woman as well.
Okay.
Authority figure, definitely, but not in a. She was like in a manager position. Also a good friend of my mom.
Okay.
In fact, they were from the same place. They were from the same hometown. So same vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she was as fierce as my mom did. So that got me pretty scared when we were like working together for the first day, and I got on with it, and we became good partners then. Yeah. Also before this job, the the previous boss, the previous boss was also a woman, an authority figure. She was also authoritative, but with a more like mannerisms in her composture, in the way that she acts, in the way that she managed her employees, including me. And yeah, and also the last summer job, I was in a museum in my university. We have a small museum, nothing big, but still something. The boss was also our boss was also a woman, a fair judge kind of woman. She's the same type of woman with the first boss. Also a fair, authoritative kind of woman. Like these are all like really strong. In fact, my mom was also an authoritative figure for me in my early life, in my early childhood. And like a big theme, I feel like a big theme of my life was about to break free from this illusion that my mom still controls my life.
Yeah. That is a transition everybody goes through. Is because you're a kid, your parents do control your life. That's their job, to keep you from doing something stupid and getting dead. But then also to hopefully teach you important things that are necessary to not just stay alive, but okay, now here's how you succeed, and here's how to become happy and be a good person. So there's a lot to that. And I don't know why the thought occurred to me that I don't know. It feels wrong, but it feels important. There's something there. The idea of the invaders maybe symbolizing a portion of yourself coming in to become also an authority figure in this mostly female-dominated profession. To something that may be completely the wrong way to go with that, but there may be a part of you that feels like you're invading a space where there's all these strong women and they're in charge, and it's mostly women there, but now you're coming in, and I'm going to join you. I'm going to be one of you. I don't know. Either that resonates with you or it doesn't. It's just an idea I had.
Well, at least for the time being of my teaching practice, I will have to do that. Actually, education will not be my career.
Okay.
As far as at least not in public education.
Okay.
You will not see me teaching in a community college, for instance. That would not be my thing. Yeah.
And your career path, you're thinking, is a PhD, maybe teach in university?
Yeah, that's all thing. And also also conducting my researches.
Fair enough.
By the way, I'm also studying history, so that would be my passion.
That would be what you would choose to be, maybe a history teacher in college.
Yeah, history professor.
Yeah.
History researcher. Yeah.
Very nice.
Historian. Yeah.
That's one thing I didn't think of with these invaders. Did they have modern clothes, or were they more historical clothes? Did they actually look like pirates, kind of 1600s clothing? What did they look like?
Modern.
It was modern. Okay.
Kind like a really light, thin Somali pirate vibe.
Okay, gotcha. Fair enough. Then that's modern day pirates. So that's a great relevant association to make. Yeah. Looking back through my notes here. Yeah, I'm wondering why the mother or feminine energy in that figure would be feeling pity towards the woman for changing places with the man or exchanging something with him. I don't know if anything comes to mind when you focus on that.
About that. the reason why she felt pity for her. I think it was more about I felt like it was more about her being criminal in the first place, or more than her taking place for someone. I think that's maybe at least she was not feeling pity for her taking place.
Okay, so it wasn't related to the exchange necessarily, the trading places. It was more to the criminal history. That is, it is interesting. Nothing comes to mind when you think about the idea of these persons having a criminal history or having done something wrong, or been convicted of something. I think we need to relate it to something else in order to make sense of it, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that might relate to in your life. Maybe when you think of criminal, what are some other words that come to mind? What does it mean to be a criminal or to have a criminal history? What is?
Oh wow, shit! The first word that comes to my mind is vigilante.
Really? Okay. That maybe these persons might have done something actually good, but technically illegal and unlawful, and they paid the price, and now they're free. So actually, maybe rather than having done something wrong, and again, this maybe relates to the invaders having a good reason, but doing it the wrong way. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. That's definitely related. Wow.
It seems like the same theme. So vigilante, like the motive was good, but the method was bad. I think there's something in there too. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Wow. Shit.
Yeah, you're getting a sense of importance, of meaningfulness in that concept. Where does that take your mind?
Ooh.
In terms of your own choices or decision making?
Okay, that's this really explicit detail that just popped into my mind.
Yeah.
It was that. So it was not my first teaching practice, right? In our education degree, we have to do 2 practices. I already passed the first. And in my first practice, I had to constantly deal with this like naughty kids, like these kids that just didn't want to be in the class. And they were like this like unruly but not totally not totally want to break your rules. But rather they just don't want to be in the class, and they just don't want to study, but they were not totally hateful. And that has constantly been an issue for me to deal with them. Like I don't know how to deal with them properly. Like I don't want to, and I could not properly punish them. But at the same time, they disrupt my classes, so I have to do something about it. But I cannot.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
When you think about that, the idea of looking to make a connection with this criminal, and you keep looking and keep looking and keep looking, and you're not meeting him. Think of that in terms of maybe the kids. You're looking for the ability to make a connection with these kids that are not bad people, but they're just not behaving correctly, and you can't get together with the idea of how to handle them. Is that feeling meaningful?
That's definitely my struggle, and as in why I don't want to teach in anywhere other than the university.
I feel the same way working in psychiatry. I don't work with kids. I can't. I don't know how to deal with them. I could never. Once upon a time, I thought I wanted to be a kindergarten teacher because I love little kids when they're like 5, 6 years old. They're fun. Then they start turning into teenagers and they become assholes. And they're mad. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. And I'm like, I know. I was the same way when I was in high school and middle school. I didn't want to do any of this. I hated it. Don't tell me what to do. So, but I still don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to help those kids, teenagers.
Exactly.
It's terrible.
like kids, you were so cute back then. Why when you got grown up, you suddenly become all this angsty and a piece of.
Oh no, I get you 100%. That is interesting too, because you're watching the exchange or the meeting of the criminals from afar, and you're always at a distance from kind of what's happening. So that suggests to me like you're trying to be objective. How do I rationally deal with this? I'm going to hold it out in front of me and look at it. It's not happening in your face. It's happening over here where you can see it, maybe analyze it. So you're trying to think your way through this problem. The different settings might be relevant as well. So you're going to meet at a diner, doesn't happen. You're in the desert for an exchange, you still haven't met him. You're in a city crossing a crosswalk, and that's travel, or especially the idea of crossing a street is an idea of transition or movement towards a goal. But then also you're in a seaside town, so each of these settings might be relevant in terms of different approaches you've tried to connect with the kids that have maybe not worked as well as you thought. The diner could represent, maybe I'll bribe them with candy. The desert could be, I don't know. It depends on what it means to you. When you think of the different settings and maybe trying to connect with unmarried kids, harsh, unforgiving landscape.
Yeah.
What am I trying to get at with that? Is like the settings that you're trying to connect with the criminal in might represent different methods you've tried to connect with the kids. Methods that failed to produce the result of making them behave and successfully getting through the class. Does that bring anything to mind?
Wow. Yeah, it can definitely be put into that way. Like the desert symbolize me trying to treat them harshly, but that didn't.
Maybe that would work.
It didn't.
Actually, I hate to interrupt, but that just brought something to mind too. Is the idea that if that's exactly right, the desert represents, maybe I just need to be more firm with them. And what happened was the male criminal changed places with the female. So you probably tried being a little harsh, a more authoritarian, more dominant, and that didn't work. So you traded that masculine energy for the female of saying, maybe I'll try to reason with them. Maybe I'll try to understand them. Maybe I'll try to be more supportive instead of harsh. I don't know. Does that bring anything to mind, that masculine energy trading places with the female nurturing energy?
Oh, well, yeah, that did appear when in my struggles when I was in my first practice. I was constantly shifting gears, like changing between being a harsh authoritarian figure to a nurturing, understanding figure, and just keep exchanging. But most of the time, I felt like I was trying to hold a indifferent posture towards the class, because like I was like, the school was not. I don't know how to put it. Like, I didn't want to be. I was constantly feeling like I did not want to be in that position of a teacher in that when in my first practice. Like, I was as if I was just passing through, like just getting through the first practice, rather than really focusing on doing something productive in here. Like, that was not my priority. Was about getting through the first practice. So I didn't really conducting something. So maybe that's why I was not keeping a constant strategy to deal with all my classes.
And you're also finding your footing. Like, this is your first time trying this. You're running into unique challenges, unique to your experience, and you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know what to do. And you try different things. When you think of focusing on getting through your required practical experience. The mission was to get to the end of it, to complete it successfully. When you think of that mission in terms of being on a mission to meet the criminal, does anything come to mind? Relating that?
You mean?
May not be.
You mean?
Don't know.
That has not been a definite goal as to what the meeting with the criminal achieves.
Okay, nothing comes to mind when you lay those two things on top of each other. That's fine. That's just a random thought I had about because the idea of being on a mission in your dream is you're trying to accomplish something. You're trying to reach a conclusion or make something happen. So it would tend to relate to real life situations, say, where you have a purpose you wish to achieve and you're struggling to get there. Maybe you don't know how, or it's taking a long time, but it's not finished yet. It's an ongoing mission. So the idea of doing something purposeful, meaningful, the idea of desiring to accomplish something will often come out in the dreams. The idea of going to let's see, if we look at the empty city, like you had the feeling that there should be a bunch of people there, but it's just quiet and empty. Did you have let's see, you said you felt calm and reassured or supported, maybe even because you knew the agency was still watching over you. When you think about that, do you think of being confident in getting through your learning process of becoming a teacher because there's a system in place for teaching you, supervising you? Hello, son. What do you think about that idea that because there isn't already an education system in place and you have people around you who supervise and a system in place that sets your boundaries for you? What do you think about that?
Especially for instance, when I was in my first practice, I felt like I was all like my supporting teachers, my supervisors, who was a professor that taught me once. She was my supervisor, and also the many other teachers in school. They have been treating me so well, and also in our every practice we got two supervisors, one from my own faculty history, and the other from totally unrelated, for fairness. They both treated me well, and they were both giving me a lot of suggestions, a lot of sharing a lot of experience, as to how this usually goes, how does the practice usually goes, especially and also on the second on this second practice, as to when the on the briefing, the briefing. My mentor was also responsible for the briefing. In there, he also showed a lot of support to us all. For example, he told us that our department, student teachers from our faculty of history, got the highest praise comparing to all the other departments from the practice schools. So that's something. So that's something good to hear.
That idea seems to mesh with the idea of a in the dream kind of not an all powerful, not quite omniscient, but they see everything and they've got a lot of power, ability, authority. Meshing that with the idea of you have some reassurance that you're not going to screw up your teaching practice too badly because you've got people helping you make good decisions, and that even if you screw up, you can go to them and they'll help you fix it. You have that feeling? Okay. Okay. That's good. That kind of.
And also, like, side note, like, my mentor was also responsible for setting up my plan for after my graduation. Like, it was him that gave me the idea for higher studies to reach a PhD in America.
Very nice.
It was his idea. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Well, I think we've done pretty good kind of teasing out some of the elements of the criminal, the criminals and the exchange and the idea of searching and searching and searching. And I don't know, the only thing we haven't really quite gotten a really good grip on is the invaders. That one still puzzles me a little bit, or feels like we haven't quite gotten a good understanding of. So what I'd like to do is, rather than reading back to you what you said, I'd like to try and put it in my own words and say what's happening there. You've got people who have common drives. They're driven by the need to survive. Or as you said, maybe they want a better life. They're trying to make their life better, but they're doing it in a bad way, and they're gonna hurt people. So they're coming to invade this seaside town. And the people are scared, and they're getting kidnapped. And so what's happening there is you've got, I mean, the important words to me are the idea of invasion, the idea of the kidnapping or capturing people. There's something going on in that dynamic. Thinking about it in relation to some of the other stuff we've been talking about, how would invasion or harming people or capturing people relate to some of your struggles with the school experience, the education practice? Does anything come to mind?
Well, I mean, me stepping into a new and familiar place and work, that definitely has something to do with the concept of stepping into uncharted territory. Stepping to new territories, and I think you definitely need the guts of an invader to really have your own place in that territory.
Sure, I think it is significant, maybe that, and I suggested that could represent a part of you, but it can also represent a concern, something you wish to be separate from, because the decision was, your father understood what was going on, and we're going to leave. You're not going to be a victim of it. You're not going to be a part of it. You're going to separate yourself from it, and also the idea you're watching it from afar. What did you think?
You heard me saying that I didn't want to really be a teacher in high schools, right?
Yeah.
And despite me having to conduct a practice in one of these high schools, so a lingering idea about all this practice is that I would just need to do a good performance in one of this practice in a high school without really planning to work work long term in these high schools. Like, I just need to perform well for the sake of my degree, and that's it.
Yeah.
For the sake of graduation, and that's it. I get out. I pull out.
Yeah. And so that idea came to mind when you thought about the invaders coming in. Good motivation, maybe bad practice. Coming in, it's something to do with scaring the people and capturing the people. And I don't know how that inspired something in your mind, that idea, but then also the idea that you're separating yourself from it. And the idea that your father was not scared because he understood what was happening. Have you had discussions with your father about your struggles with teaching the high school kids?
Not really.
Okay. Wondered if he shared some insight with you or gave you some understanding. Have you had
Well, I mean,
any discussions with him about any discussions with him about what your education practice and what you've been going through and struggling with school?
not really. We didn't really talk much about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You had another thought a moment ago. It seemed like I might have cut you off.
Yeah, what was that about? Yeah, like, shit, no, not really.
I should have let you roll with it. I'm sorry, that's my fault.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
I think there's something there, and sometimes we're right on the edge of something, and we just can't find the right word. It happens to me all the time. I'm always struggling to find the right word to just finish a sentence sometimes, because all the words I can think of don't actually express what I'm trying to say. That might be the case with this. This kind of final element of the dream might require a little more meditation. You might have to I like to say, let it percolate, like making coffee. It just takes time, and eventually something comes to you. But I think there's something there related to that. It's something you're usually when I can't say usually, but very often when there's some element of the dream that is negative or bad things happening to people, it's something you're worried about. It's something you don't want to happen. So it's not wish fulfillment that you see invaders come and hurt people. It's more of I don't like this. I wish this wasn't happening, but I'm worried that it's going to happen, or it's related to something that is already happening. And your choice of the dream was to leave. And that has something to do with what's represented by your father. Again, if your mother just represents feminine energy, maybe your father just represents masculine energy in the dream. And so something about that process of making that decision to leave relates to what's going on there. So you may be rejecting an approach. Maybe you had considered doing something and you're like, that's not the way to do it. So like good reason, bad method. And you're like, nah. So you're rejecting an idea. Maybe at some point in the future, that'll come to you. I don't know what else to make of it.
Well, my father definitely represents, as you say, the masculine energy of me. And maybe the masculine energy will be of good use in my next practice, like a sort of a calming, like me producing a calming presence to, because I would not be working alone in my practice. Like I also have my colleagues, like other student teachers from the same school. Like we will have to work. Well, like we have our own classes to teach, but that's for sure. But I mean, we still have to work in the same school. So maybe that I would be the calming presence in the group. I mean, I mean, like I already am. Like we already, for instance, we now have a WhatsApp group already for contacts, and like they like all the time they were always like I would not use the word panic, but more like they were confused as to what's the next step to do, like what's the briefing, or what's the first meeting of the school. And I have to like be like the one that's keep explaining all these things to them.
Okay.
So that's something.
I wonder if that might relate to, like, if you lay that idea on top of the invaders, maybe the idea that you have to be the calming presence and provide people information. Maybe there's some part of you that feels feels a burden of caring for or providing information to your fellow students, as if they're invading on your time and energy, and you kind of wish they would get their shit together and just know what's going on, because you know what's going on. How could they not read the syllabus? It might be something related to that. I don't know. That's just an idea.
That's a fantastic idea.
It might relate. Maybe you think about it, you think of something else, or that could be it too. Because that's a burden on your time, and that's a struggle you're dealing with. Is these other people kind of depend on you to get through their experience. So it may feel like it's invading on your time in this otherwise beautiful seaside place where you could just relax and watch the ocean, something like that.
Yeah. Well, I felt I felt when I was in the seaside, it was sunset. That was beautiful.
Okay, beautiful sunset. I think that
But
might
I
be.
didn't.
Oh, go ahead.
But I didn't look to the sunset directly. I just knew that it was a beautiful sunset.
Gotcha. That is interesting too. I don't know what to make of sunset, dawn. These are periods of transition. So very often it's like the end of the day or the beginning of something new. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Exchange, transfer.
Yeah.
To a new phase.
Yeah. Change into something different, becoming something different, moving on to something else.
As with the criminal transfer.
Yeah. There's a lot of those things, and constantly moving to new visual environments in the dream. New scenes. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that feels important.
Shit, this got chilling. I mean, wow.
That's good. I love that feeling. That's what I just got it too. I felt a little chills coming from you. I can see when people feel, oh, that makes sense. That's meaningful. That really gets me. I love that.
You love that.
I do. That's one of my favorite things.
Oh yeah, transfer. Yeah, I gotta jot it down.
Yeah.
Transfer, exchange. Wow.
Transition.
Yeah.
Transformation.
Transition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to do is just go to the thesaurus. Just type in, word synonyms. And then I start looking for words that make more sense, that kind of describe what I'm trying to say. So maybe you'll find some other word and you're like, that's it. That's what it is. But it's related to those concepts. So yeah. Well, speaking of sunset in the dream, that might be a good place to wrap it up. If you feel like we've covered everything that seemed important to you.
So far, yeah, I would say that's the case. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I don't mean to rush you out, but we've been at it for almost 2 hours. I don't know what time it is there. You might need to get to bed.
Yeah, I'm already feeling sleepy already. Maybe on to another long dream for you to solve.
That would be fantastic. At some point very soon, I want to have people start coming back, but for now I'm trying to do a new person as often as I can.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, Bernard, I really appreciate you being here. This has been a great experience for me. I enjoy it, and I hope it was good for you.
I enjoyed it too, Benjamin. Thank you for letting me share my dreams to you and happy to solve all the symbols. And
I hope we got something meaningful, and it helps make your decisions better and more confident. Well, then I'll just say to everyone watching, thank you for being here for another episode of Dreamscapes. And if you enjoy what I do, like, share, subscribe, tell people about it. Come on in and join me for an interview. And we'll see y'all next time. Thanks again.
Bye-bye, Benjamin.